So things are going a little better now. I think we'll start seeing some more results. I hope to get a lot done for this video. Starting from the front, I'm going to get the steering linkage finished up, get the brace under the dash and steering column support all done, get the dash kind of finished up, then cross member for the transmission and fuel cell. So yeah, I'll get to work and hopefully we can show you some progress. Thanks. So I got all that excess from the old S10 cowl cut out from in there. So now when my bar comes across from this brace, goes across, I'll be able to come down to support this off that tube. And then I left just a little edge on here that I can fold up and weld in better. You know, seeing some other welds on this truck, I'm not really confident in where this section was welded into the firewall. So that'll re-support that a little bit, strengthen it up. I'm going to leave this on. Just kind of clean that up. Here's a pile of some of the stuff we cut out of there. It's all just taking up space under there. So right now what I'm working on is trying to clean up under the dash here. That got kind of hacked up. So I'm going to cut a cleaner curve here, shape a piece in there, then I'll actually end up tying the dash into this brace here to make that even stronger. See, when he cut this out, he cut out this inner brace here. So we'll put the strength back in that, get that all tied together, and it should be muy strong. And get that all smoothened in, looking good. Alright, got the whole underside here done of the dash. Need a little work around that round opening there, but got everything up underneath here. Got the dash tied to the steering column brake pedal support. Fun tack welding overhead. Came out good though. Then we got brace up in there, and I got the brace made running side to side. So we're going from that side over here, goes across, and then in the middle there's a plate. Goes to the firewall. There'll be 3 bolts through the firewall to support it in the middle, and it runs on over to that side there. And those bolts again are through the hood hinges. So yeah, it's coming along. The dash opening's a lot nicer, and now I mean there's nothing moves. It's rock solid. And the brace, I made it removable because eventually we hope to put a vintage air in, and I want to make sure it's not going to interfere. If it does, I can take it out and modify it. So I'm mocking up the steering. It's looking pretty good right to where it is. I'm just using dowels to kind of get the lengths right before I cut the actual steel. I'm still waiting on the U-joint that goes down to the steering gear. That Heim joint support is just setting in there, nothing's welded yet. But it looks like I have good header clearance right there, and on number 1, clearance looks good. So I think this is probably going to work. The angles aren't very drastic. You can still get at the bolts down in there for alignment. There's plenty of room to adjust things there. So yeah, this is looking pretty close. We'll wait till you get that joint, see how it goes from there. So got the motor out. I'm gonna have to pull that cross member still. I got the motor mounts off. This side there's a slot where you can get in and get at the nuts on the back, and this side I had to cut a slot. I don't know why they didn't just do like a weld nut on the inside. Would have made life a lot easier. So yeah, we wanted to push the motor back about 1.5 inches or something, just to give us a little more clearance with getting the radiator mounted in. I don't know if I already showed you, I also had to touch up some plasma cuts that were in the frame, apparently from when he was doing his disassembly. So here's the motor mount. So it's on the right, obviously that's the stock mount with no adjustment. So I cut apart the one mount and made this one. Gives me about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches of adjustment. I got to push the rubber back into it. Grab it here. And so yeah, from here is where it was. Now I got all this adjustment. I had to cut slots in the back so I could get in and weld the cage for the rubber on the clamshell. Still hot. So yeah, all I used off the original was just this top piece. Cut that off. I'm probably going to put something on each side here. Let me set this back down. A little something on each end to contain the rubber inside there better. Because the original clamshell had these same ribs on the bottom. But yeah, it gives you good adjustment. Keeps the same height that I had. And keeps the rubber mount in there, so it should be nice and smooth still. So I got the motor mounts in. You can see probably have to go to electric fuel pump. I got the motor slid back as far as I can with these mounts, and the fuel pump is sitting on the cross member. So I don't want to cut and modify the cross member, so we'll just put an electric pump. But I still got really good clearance at the firewall for the distributor and the valve covers. Everything looks good there. But now hopefully I'll have plenty of clearance up here for the radiator and the fan. I'll probably just trim those studs off a little bit, get a little more room. But if you haven't noticed, this is not the 400 that I said was going in here. She thought that was just too dressy. Wants it to be more stock. So we're going with this. It's just a nice 305 out of 79 Camaro. I believe it's bored 30 over. Very fresh rebuild. So it should be a really good runner, a nice cruiser. So yeah, we'll keep going and plugging away one step at a time, right? So now I got the cross member done. It was a little bit of struggle drilling uphill there. So I added this piece in here just to give me a flat surface, because there's that step in the frame there. I wanted to bolt into the sides. I wanted to do a tubular cross member, but that just was too much work. The way this frame is shaped so odd. It's not a nice easy box. But no, this worked really well. Those nut plates reinforce everything, and put some holes in it, to help drain any water that gets in there, and it looks kind of cool. So put the new mount onto the cross member for the tranny to bolt to. So yeah, we got the cross member is done. So keep moving on. So got the fuel cell in position. The down bars that are holding it up are just tacked in right now, because I may want to change, kind of lower the back end of it just to make sure that's the lowest point where the fuel pickup is. Down there. But it came up pretty good. So 1 1/4 heavy gauge tubing across here, and then 1 inch for the uprights and these little crossbars in the bottom structure. It's very strong. I can I can stand and bounce on this, no problem. So it'll hold that fuel cell. I did end up spacing this back because I did not figure in the vent and fuel return line positions, but worked out all right. Take a look underneath. Here's a look from the back. We may put a panel to kind of hide the fuel cell, but not sure yet on that. So yeah, these tabs here position it front to back, and these on the sides keep it side to side, so it's in there real snug, doesn't go anywhere. Easy to drop out, just a bolt at each corner, kind of squeezes it up into those foam pads, or EPDM rubber pads. So yeah, one more step, we'll keep going. So before doing the cross member, I first took my angle finder to check the angle on the rear end and the tail shaft of the transmission, and got it so the rear end is just a degree or two, a couple degrees down from what the tail shaft is on the transmission, and then use the laser to line up the rear differential center of that to the center of the tail shaft with the center of the crankshaft, so everything's in line, and then build the cross member from there. So the steering is in place and it works. Got the heim joint mount tacked into the frame down there. Sits in there really nice. Got lots of clearance at the headers. So no issues there. I could have probably ran it straight like I was thinking, but it was just too tight to the headers then, and I already had the joints, so this works. Just got to make sure when you run multiple joints that they're clocked correctly. You want to make sure, you know, these are lined up. You don't want one turned a little out of sequence, because then when you turn the steering wheel, it'll be easy then hard and easy then hard, where it kind of binds up. So easy way I used to clock them was just some heavy gauge angle iron. Just set it on the flats here, and then tack the joints in. So everything is just tacked now. I want to wait till I get all the inner fenders and radiators and all that stuff in before I permanently weld everything up. It's pretty easy to remove it. Just take the nut off the bottom of the heim joint, and this lifts out. This is a double D with a set screw. And so you could take it out there, or you just pull this screw out here and slip it off the steering gear. And then this too is just a double D with a clamp bolt. So yeah, we're getting this thing together. So thanks for watching. That's probably all for this video. Next one, I think we'll tackle exhaust.